Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What does sensorality stabilize? So, sensorality is spatiality, speciality is special. Those are our fundamental where we left off, because again, we're building up to one theorem to show this fundamental inversion, iteration, integration, defining, stabilization, definition. We're exhausting our linguistics, our letters, that will show some sort of completion, as well as produce and solidify our axiomatic definition for sensorality. But linguistically and logically, we've renormalized speciality is special, that is direct and literal, sensorality is spatial. And so continuing on, what is science to mathematics? I told you before we're going to ask these more bigger questions because we've derived the structure of all language. And so, mathematics is thematics, science is sentience, this process of analysis. What is the theme of sentience, Still a question of rhythm's the answer. A theme is a connection, but rhythm, algorithm, mathematics, they're all based on theme. And that is what the linguistic reduction is of that THM. What is speciality to spatiality? Natural tendency to differentiate for sexual antagonism. Spatiality is spacious. And we're not at the final reduction, but we're showing you all of the steps. And so, speciality to spatiality, do you need space to be special? You need space for movement, work, energy, and just listing them on doesn't matter, moving along. Meaniality is mean, Average is mean. Meaniality is mean. Meaniality is remedial. Sensorality is meaniality. Sensorality is remediality. General, sensoral. Sensorality is sensorality. Another step we've definitely derived before, but it came back up again, it's worth pointing out. And so now we've arrived at the biggest result that has ever been produced, actually literally directly immediately. And so I'm calling this tentatively the fundamental theorem of linguistics, linguistics being the range of physics, both physics and linguistics, just direct statements of it is what it is, just packaged up with more consonants. But again, these results are independent of me, so I'm not really sure what this is, but this is definitely the biggest result that has ever existed, actually. And so A and E are inverses, like the sounds, and represented by the letters, That's where you get this diphthong, or again, this linguistic element A, E. It's like sandwiched together. It will be on your screen, but it's literally some sort of iteration of infinity. Like if you've ever written that symbol out by hand, again, in English, when you write and you do the lowercase a, you just do a circle and then a down. But that's again, it's a truncation geometrically of when you type out the letter A, and it has that that bridge over top and then a loop to the bottom. And then when you do the loop to the bottom, you swirl it back up to the E. It's a direct iteration of inversion, geometrically, the actual shape, and then the sounds, and then the logic that progresses from those sounds, You take any non-English language represented by the Roman alphabet, and the symbol that we call E, you pronounce A. It's a direct inversion. And so that is the biggest result in all of language. And you say, well, Brad, where's the evidence of that? This is what English is. Is it some sort of iteration of changing the order of A and E? That is why you have, can't think of any examples, but in pretty much all, not all, but the big A and E, the symbols from non-English languages represented by the Latin alphabet or the Roman alphabet, you pronounce the symbol E as A and the letter A as A. And so that is what English is. It's some sort of iteration or pulling out or changing that or flipping that. That is why English is the language of science. And so again, what that result is called or what it develops, what people will call it, again, the result is independent of me, but that is 100% the largest because it structures the logic. Before we're saying sensorality, sourcinality, that E to the A, and now we've pulled out to the A, and again, chronologically, the English alphabet is chronological, It's a set of data in order. And so that is definitely what is going on there, and that is the fundamental theorem of linguistics. A and E are inverses. Geometrically, linguistically, all the consequences, everything. Biggest result ever produced. And again, I've already produced it. Is space special? Is space safe? And again, Brad, you just produced the craziest result ever. But again, you build logic, right? The emergent properties and understanding and knowledge. Everyone's already functioning on all of these properties that you've never rigorously articulated. And so if all of this was true and we just worked through the biggest result ever, people would still say safe space, right? Is space safe, right? People say safe space all of the time. Facts don't care about your feelings, says Ben Shapiro. But your feelings produce facts. Feelings are physical. That is, we prove that. And so it's a false differentiation, saying facts don't care about your feelings. You know, the sentiment of being, what is what it is, and that's what it's going to be, not what you think it should be. But the reality is this feelings produce facts. So again, we always mess up our chronology, whether you're, again, all of physics producing potential energy, not energy potential, or you're Ben Shapiro saying facts don't care about your feelings. Feelings produce facts. But is safety special? Spatiality increases safetyality, right? If you're farther away from somebody trying to harm you, you have more safety. Space is proportional to safety. Sensorality is safetyality. Most is maximum. Minimum, momentum, maximum. What is momentum to power? Power, energy, velocity. Momentum, mass times velocity. And so, all right, if you power depletes momentum. Again, it's just pointing out the linguistic relevance, but we've worked through all of physics. We've done physics. We're just getting to the linguistic reduction. Sensorality is the theme of 3. So there again, we see geometrically R and M are geometric progressions. Very clear. I'm not going to try to convince you of that. You can just see it. But throughout history, what time is it? Oh yeah, the Trinity, huh? Right. But again, throughout every culture, right, this fundamental theme of 3 is what we just derived, in every way that proliferates. And so that is true. Again, massive results. The A and the E, this is just... space is spatial. Spatiality is essentiality. We're just showing this is the exhaustion of sensorality. Because we have to exhaust the physical, logical, all of the implications of what sensorality could be used for. Because that's how we produce our next word form. And so essentiality is, again, our last logical renormalization that's like overwhelmingly apparent. People say essential, that's sensorality, right? Space is essential. Work requires movement. Energy requires space. All of these things require space. Space is essential. And so now that's a self-contained natural definition of sensorality itself. Space is essential. Spatiality is essentiality. And so, what is meaning to definition? Words have meaning. They are naturally defined. They are defined based off of their usages with other words. And so means are averages. What is an average to a definition? A definition is the average conceptual use of a linguistical element. But again, just sticking to the direct results again, because this is, like I said, we just derive and the results are just right there. And so easily the biggest result in all of linguistics, again, what do we actually call that? Again, history, there's a correct verbiage and I'll probably articulate it better myself. But that is what the English language is doing, is somehow it's either iterating forward or uniterating backwards. Again, it's differentiating. And so whatever the usage of, again, languages that represent with the Latin or Roman alphabet that have A and A, as opposed to A and E, it's some sort of unique historical progression. And it is as it's evidenced and proven by the symbol A and E. And you can see, again, like the curl of the A going the opposite of the E, right? You can almost think about rotating and flipping it, right? They're not chiral, they're inverses. Or they are chiral, they're not symmetric. And so again, very clearly, they're not like when we did the ability to agility, it's not 1-to-1, right? It's very clear, everything is infinitely unique. And so but we're getting as close as we can to these results, or these are 100% legit results, but just again with this irreducibility aspect, you guys have never seen complete mathematics before. And so largest result ever produced that will never change. That is what is going on for the large scale evolution of language represented by linguistics, meaning the letters to represent the logic behind it. That is why English is the language of science. That is what I have for you right now. My rights continue to be violated. It is profoundly and extensively illegal. To the people watching this, you are torturing me. It is fucking disgusting. It continues to be the most prolific crime in human history. No one will ever care because you sick fucking people have no values. I continue to beg for my money if these tables ever turn, which is hilarious. You guys can't open your mouth without demonstrating the proof that is on the internet. But you guys don't know what a proof is. You think this shit is up for debate, or it's pick your favorite math club. You think 1 + 1 can equal 3, and Sean Carroll can go chase dark energy, and Samir Mather can go change the information paradox, and you guys are all just lying sacks of shit. The entirety of linguistical structure is proven on the internet up until the point of A and E being inverses. That is an unequivocal, empirical fucking fact. Show me some dignity and some respect. But again, you guys are cowards, trash, and losers. That is what I have for you today. The legal punishments for what have been done to me and what has been done to suppress science throughout history will be punished with absolutely no leniency, no nothing. Fuck you sick people. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.